Hello, everyone. Let's talk about the story of Liz Murray in the movie Homeless to Harvard. But before that, let's first ponder upon these questions. Have you ever experienced difficult situations in life? If yes, how did you overcome them? If not, how would you overcome those challenges if you were in a bad situation? Later on, we'll be finding out how Liz Murray was able to get through the life she was in and how she was able to get the life that she deserves. But before that, let's get to know who this person is. So Liz Murray was born on September 23, 1980 in New York City. Her real name is Elizabeth Murray, and she wasn't able to live actually in a beautiful city. Thus, she lived in a place where there are a lot of drug addicts, including her parents. Let's talk about now the early childhood experiences. So Liz was born to her mother and father, Gian and Peter, respectively. Her mother and her father were both drug addicts, and so she also had a sister named Lisa. And when Liz was a baby and a toddler, they were actually a happy family. But things changed when Lisa got a little older. Their parents got addicted to drugs. And then after that, at school, she rarely attends, and it started when Liz's mother, Jeanne, had a very bad addiction to drugs. She would even use the grocery money just to buy drugs for herself, and none of them would even have food. So Liz would have to eat through dumpsters so she wouldn't starve. And then one day, the ambulance was called because her mother was having a very bad breakdown, and Liz didn't see her mom for months, and her mother was actually diagnosed with AIDS. So, just to continue, she rarely attends school, and it's pretty hard to get into Harvard, but at the end of the day, she was able to get in. And so, after her mother was in the hospital for a while, Liz didn't go to school. And not even before that, she only went once or twice, I think, a month. And at home, she would read the sets of encyclopedias. When she turned 17, she wanted to go to school and to college as well. And she only had 2 years to do many years of missed schools. Now let's go to what happened in the story, just to give you the summary or what happened in this character in the movie that you have watched. So basically, every child's dream is to have a nice home. This is the simplest yet the most satisfying shelter a child can build countless dreams and aspirations in life. Now, our character Liz or Lizzie, formerly called Elizabeth Murray, is a child who hoped for a nice home with a nice family. But fate has become playful to her life. At a very young age, Liz experienced a lot not many children of her age do not encounter. It's considered one of the most infamous nightmares any person could ever have. Now, her parents were both addicted to drugs, and they both always depended on drugs too much to the point that they would do anything just to have a little extra uh, um, amount of money just to buy for their bad habits, and they cannot avoid it, and they tend to always take cocaine, just to be specific. Now, at a very young age, she became the only member of the family who had a job, and she would work as a bagger in a grocery store and pump gas to support their basic needs. So she and her sister, Lisa, witnessed these struggles her family had. They witnessed how their mother went wild and crazy over drugs, so did their father. And it came to the very point in their life that every single item in the house was sold by their mother to support her recreational use of drugs until one day they reached the turning point that they became homeless. To continue, her mother died because of AIDS and tuberculosis. Her father was always on the streets, neglecting his responsibilities because of his worsening drug addiction. Her mother's death left a very impactful experiences in her life, and not seeing her mother around is such a horror for her. Yet what happened made her decide not to ever follow her parents' footsteps, that no matter what happens, she will work hard and succeed in life. So Liz went back to school, and nobody in their school knew that she was already homeless. So she studied very hard, even in the darkest hour of her life, in a staircase with no room nor roof. Her school days were not really much fun, but still, she enjoyed learning because that was what she hoped for. So, what happened next is she applied for a scholarship, which she read from the New York Times. This newspaper was actually the one that she had never read, and it's the newspaper company that grants scholarship for needy local students who struggle financially, and this is where she thought would be a great opportunity for her. Her inspiring life story on how she overcomes struggles and how she went to the great lengths made the New York Times paid her way to earn the scholarship. Her story, along with other winners, touched a chord in the New Yorkers, and actually many readers of the newspaper were moved and donated money, which is enough to support more scholarships. And the money she received would be used to support her study in college. So, back when she had a visit at Harvard University, she made up her mind that she would study there in college, and that was her dream, a goal that was within her reach now. She thought that it can always be possible to people if only they would want to do it. And everyone is all equal in the university. No one is above the others. That's the good thing about it. And Harvard University accepted her as a member of the class in 2004. And that was one of the very momentous news that she has ever known. She even said that I felt like I had wings. I felt like I could do anything. So that's according to her. And then several years have passed, and everything was still unforgettable to her. Her parents being drug addicts, being homeless, her mother who died from AIDS, and Liz Murray herself almost giving up school, and many others. So, reminiscing these things, she found out that she didn't feel any anger nor bitterness at all. Despite all the burdens her parents brought to their family, her parents made her feel that she's still their daughter. So she has forgiven her parents for whatever happened in their past and became her greatest lesson to the reach of the peak of her success. Let us try to find out what happened to her father and sister in the story. So, what really happened to her father and sister is that Liz's father, Peter, died from AIDS in the year 2006, and Liz's sister, Lisa, was diagnosed with AIDS, but they said that she's still currently alive. And Liz's mother was buried in a donated four pieces of wood nailed together as a casket. So, in the present, Liz Murray is a very motivational and inspirational speaker. She goes around telling her story and motivating people. She also has written books, a lot to be mentioned, and now she is happily married and has two children. And up until now, she still lives in New York. Now, in the story, we will learn that these characters' experiences and story is a lesson of hard work, forgiveness, optimism along with self-confidence and living in the present. It's really hard if you really dwell in the past, and you'll not be able to look forward to the present. And it's a wonder how she forgave her parents despite of the trauma she experienced being drug addicts and has no one to support her in school. And instead of blaming them for a miserable life, she set her eyes on higher goals. And this is where opportunity would always knocks the door, and it happens when we are prepared. Same through in life. I would like you to apply the experiences of this character in your life as well. That no matter what your situation is, always look forward and do not step back to what has happened already. You may take the lessons of the past in your mind, but always be the person who looks forward in achieving his or her dreams. Because in the story, there are a lot of obstacles and challenges that the person has faced. But at the end of the day, because of her drive, her persistence in achieving her dreams, she was able to get the life that she deserves. And I know in the future, you'll be able to reach your dreams and be professionals. And the learning does not stop there. You always have to learn from your mistakes, from your experiences, not only from yours, but also from the others. And always be optimistic. You will no longer be experiencing the things that you are experiencing now only if you will work hard for it. And hardships and dedications along with persistence and dedication will pay off later on. So, as students, you must be very dedicated and responsible in your studies, because I know one day you'll be the person you are ought to be. You'll be able to become successful in life. That's all. Have a good day, everyone.